You know, I think I have an addiction to numbers. A lot of times, I'll go ahead and just crunch some numbers on a thing that I want to know to try to give it a numerical value. It's this kind of thing that makes me like sports so much. There's so much statistics to it, and it has so much numbers, and you can try to use that as evidence to debate who's great at what. But, recently, I have thought of another one of these things, and I'm going to share it with you guys. The thing that I wanted to figure out was, what is the highest resolution that is reasonable? I wanted to know how big the resolution would be if the pixels were as small as the smallest thing the human eye can see. Well, obviously, the first thing we're going to have to find is, what can the human eye see? The obvious way to answer that is, of course, to Google it. What is the smallest thing a human eye can see? And I found a bit of an article, and I didn't really click on it, but I found an article that said the smallest thing that a human eye can see is about 0.1 millimeters. Now, the thing is, we can't use millimeters. The reason being is because computer monitors and TVs are usually measured in inches instead of using the metric system. So, what we're going to have to do is translate millimeters into inches. Now, once again, we are going to rely on Google to do this for us, and we just ask, what's a millimeter? And then it'll give us a translation message, and after putting in 0.1 millimeters and transferring it into inches, I got 393 701 millionth inches. That is a small number. Next, we have to find what is the size of the screen that we are going to use. Now, I'm going to use the standard measurements for a 1080p monitor, it being 14 inches wide and 7.825 inches high. And this is using an aspect ratio of 16:9. So, how do we find the actual number for the aspect of the actual pixel count? You know, where does 1080p and where does, 720p come from? Well, that comes from the number of pixels on the vertical side of things. So all we have to do is take 7.825 inches and divide that by 0.00393,701, and that will give us 2000.25 pixels. Now, this number looks pretty impressive, right? It looks like it's almost impossible that we could ever reach that. I mean, it's literally twice of 1080p, which is the standard for most things, right? Wrong. 4K is 4 times either 1440p or 1080p. I'm a bit lazy right now, and I'm rushed to record, so I honestly don't have time to research that. But, so, that's the thing. Is 4K needed? Is the question that's now brought up in your mind, probably. And I say yes. For one reason. Background. See, in the background, things get smaller. When things are smaller, they're much more difficult to define. And when they're much more difficult to find, they start to get pixelated. So, you need higher resolutions to show up on those on those faraway things. Which is why you need those higher resolutions that are higher than, where the pixels are smaller than anything we can ever see. So I have two options here. One, be lazy and just say, yeah, I can't really measure that, or measure it, alright? So what I'm going to do is, real quick, I'm going to research that, and I'll be back with the power of the internet to show you guys what would be the most logical one, and I'll be back soon. Which is right now. So, good news and bad news. Good news, there's actually a way to measure this. Bad news, it involves trigonometry. Hooray! But anyways, truly, it's more simple trigonometry, luckily. Sorry, I got a lollipop. I shouldn't be eating a lollipop while recording, but I don't care. So, let's get into the equation that we are going to be using. Now, this is the equation we're going to be using. I equals Q divided by P, in parentheses, multiplied by O. Now, I'm going to have to explain what this means to you guys, so here we go. I is what we are looking for. That is how big something looks far away. Q is the distance between your retina and your, and the lens of your eye. And P is, how far away the object is. And O is how big the actual object is. Now, to fill in this, we are going to replace Q with 0.02 because that is a constant. We're going to replace P with 5 kilometers because that's the farthest a human eye can see because of the curvature of the Earth. Yes, it's curved and it's not flat. If I said it was flat, that would completely change everything. But anyways, because of the curvature of the Earth, it's going to be 5 kilometers. That's as far as we can see away. And we're going to replace O with 1 kilometer. And we are going to then calculate. So the first thing that we're going to have to do is divide Q by P. So 0.02 divided by 5,000. That will give us 4 millionths meters. Then multiply that by 1,000 to get 4,000th meters, or 0.4 millimeters. Now, in our previous numbers, that would have been literally represented by 4 pixels, something that was a kilometer big. So, let's do a major downsizing of this whole thing. Make the pixels so small that it defines even something 5 kilometers away extremely well. Now, we took something that's a kilometer to something that's 0.00004 kilometers, or something like that. And that's a ridiculous downsizing. In fact, a downsizing of 250,000 times. A downsizing of 250,000 times means that we take our previous pixel count, multiply it by that, and we get 500,062,500p. That is a ridiculous number. Heck, even if we tried to simplify it by dividing it by 1440p, we would still get 347,266k. That is a whole lot more than 4k. This is not even, I don't even know if this is possible. And I don't want to try to find out if that's possible because it'll probably be on the molecular level. And I don't want to do molecular measurements. So there you have it. We're not reaching the plateau of resolution anytime soon. Feel free to share this with your friends and, on the internet trying to get me, this particular piece of work out there. Because I think this is really interesting information, honestly. Something that people should think about. I know I went a bit overboard on what should be the, standard with what's far away. But, it is what it is. I took something that, you would probably be able to see yourself from that long. But that's all I have for you today. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.